Hey and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's begin with our daily news. 24-year-old Arsenal player says he is going to work so hard to improve now. Martin Odegaard has surprisingly claimed that he can do much better and believes that he can improve a lot following his first year as Arsenal captain. The Norwegian was talking to the Arsenal website ahead of their final game of the campaign, which is against Wolves at the Emirates later today. Of course, it has been a disappointing end to the season for Mikel Arteta's side. For much of the year, it appeared that today would be the day Martin Odegaard would lift the Premier League trophy. Unfortunately, a poor run of form at the worst time meant that Arsenal will finish second. It has still been an amazing year, and Odegaard has been central to their progress. He has scored 15 goals and contributed 8 assists. That is a remarkable return for an attacking midfielder, and he has produced a number of captain's performances along the way. Nevertheless, while reflecting on his own season, Odegaard suggested that he feels that there is a lot more to come. He said, "This was my first season as captain, and I think I have grown a lot. I have learned to take more responsibility, and with the goals I have scored too, it's been good for me. As my first season as captain here, I think it's been okay, but I feel like I can do a lot better too. I am going to work hard to get better, and that's my main aim now. I know I can still improve so much." Odegaard is being incredibly harsh on himself. He has been one of the players of the year, and he is so important to the balance of Arsenal's side. But it's also incredibly exciting for the Gunners that Odegaard believes that he can improve significantly, and that may be a similar story across the pitch at the Emirates. Arsenal have such a young squad. If they make the right signings in the summer, this could be the start of such an exciting period for the club. It's amazing to think that Odegaard is still only 24. He could be at the top of the game for another decade, so it's frightening to think about what levels he could yet reach. Tony Cascarino says there are huge expectations on a 22-year-old Arsenal man next season. There are big expectations of Arsenal playmaker Emile Smith Rowe going into next season. That's according to pundit Tony Cascarino, who was speaking on TalkSPORT about the 22-year-old. After such a positive season at the Emirates, Emile Smith Rowe might be the most frustrated player in the squad. Under Mikel Arteta, he is shown he can be a really valuable asset in a strong Premier League side. Unfortunately, injuries have ruined his season and made it impossible for him to generate any momentum. The form of Captain Martin Odegaard is his preferred role hasn't helped either. There are now expectations on Smith Rowe to step up his involvement at Arsenal next season. He is a versatile playmaker, and Mikel Arteta has been helping him train in a new role. Although reports are suggesting he may leave in the summer, it would be a shame if he departed the Emirates. If he can get fully fit over the summer, he will definitely have a role to play next year. Talking about Arsenal's potential midfield options next season, Cascarino said, "The only thing I have heard is there is a lot more expectations on Smith Rowe at Arsenal next year. Would Mason Mount be challenging for that role? Smith Rowe had a very strange season. A lot of injuries didn't quite get going, but there is a real talent there with Smith Rowe. Arsenal's proposed summer business may make life more difficult for Smith Rowe next season. Although Granit Chaka looks set to leave, the Gunners have big plans to replace him. Declan Rice has been touted as a possible incoming this summer. There is also talk of Mason Mount and James Maddison joining Arsenal before the next campaign starts. If Smith Rowe stays at Arsenal, the expectations on him to perform will only grow. It would likely mean the club have decided against bringing in reinforcement in his position. The additional games in the Champions League will mean Arteta will have to rotate Martin Odegaard more regularly. Smith Rowe looks like the most natural fit to replace him and has big shoes to fill after the Norwegians' stunning campaign this season. Arsenal may now try to terminate outstanding players' contract this summer. It's possible that Arsenal will agree to pay up the final year of the contract of Nicolas Pepe if they are unable to find a buyer for the winger this summer. That's according to journalist Paul Brown, who was speaking to Give Me Sport as Nicolas Pepe prepares to make his return to North London following his loan spell back in League One. It certainly seems fair to say that the 27-year-old's club record move to the Emirate has not really worked out for anyone. There was a huge excitement when the Gunners agreed to sign the forward from Lille in 2019. However, there have only ever been glimpses of his outstanding quality. During his time with Arsenal, he has only scored 16 goals in 80 Premier League games. Of course, Pepe left Mikel Arteta's squad ahead of this campaign, returning to France with Nice. He has scored 6 times in 19 League One games, but he has missed much of the season due to injury, and with that, it's hard to see the winger earning a permanent move. Unfortunately for Arsenal, it's going to be difficult to offload Pepe this summer if they are looking for any sort of substantial fee. Certainly, you would imagine that they would have given up hope long ago of receiving anything that goes anywhere near what they paid for Pepe, and Brown believes that Arsenal could repeat what they have done with the likes of Ozil and Aubameyang with Pepe. He said, if they need the space in the squad and there are no suitable offers for Pepe, then it's possible that Arsenal will just pay the contract up. He doesn't have a future at the club. I doubt Arsenal want him hanging around until his contract is over. Arsenal have been vindicated for some of their ruthless decisions in recent years. Offloading Ozil, Aubameyang and Willian looked to have little benefit in the short term, but ultimately those proved to be wise calls. Arteta may be reluctant to make a final decision on Pepe just yet, but Arsenal cannot afford to stand still this summer, and if moving his wages off the books boosts their hopes of bringing a new signing in, surely it becomes best for everyone for an agreement to be reached. The real reason why Arsenal are selling Granit Xhaka this summer. Arsenal star Granit Xhaka is now on the verge of leaving the Emirates this summer. The Swiss international joined Arsene Wenger's Arsenal all the way back in 2016. He has been an important player for every manager who's been there since, but his time is about to come to an end now. On Give Me Sport, journalist Alex Crook has shared the real reason why Arsenal are letting Xhaka go now instead of next year. Granit Xhaka has always divided opinion at Arsenal almost since the day he joined the club. The Swiss international has had issues with red cards over the course of his career in the famous red and white, and who can forget what happened in the game against Crystal Palace at the Emirates 4 years ago. However, Xhaka's comeback has been nothing short of inspirational, and he has been a fan favorite at Arsenal throughout the season. When news came out that he could leave Arsenal this summer, people were shocked as nobody really expected him to be sold after how good he has been over the last 12 months. Crook has now revealed that Chaka was more than happy to run his contract down and leave for free next summer. Arsenal, however, weren't having that and decided to sell him now to make some money off his sale, the journalist said. Chaka has pretty much gone now, with a deal to Leverkusen virtually done, and that just came down to the fact that he was happy to let his contract run down, but Arsenal weren't willing to do that. They need the money to improve the squad, and obviously midfield is an area that they have targeted with the move for Moses Caicedo. They brought in Jorginho, but that was always a short-term solution to get them over the line in terms of the title, not so much long-term. It's a shame that Granit Xhaka will be leaving Arsenal right now after he helped the club return to the Champions League. The Swiss international has had his best ever campaign in a Gunners shirt. He has been absolutely phenomenal all season and is one of the biggest reasons why Mikel Arteta's men were on top of the table for so long. However, letting him run down his contract and leave for free doesn't make much sense. He is still worth a good amount of money, £13 million if reports are to be believed, and Arsenal could do with that cash as they look for other targets. A lot has gone wrong for Chaka throughout his time at Arsenal, but fans always remember him for the way he turned everything around. He deserves a lot of praise for that. TalkSPORT Pundit says £70 million tenacious player would be perfect signing for Arsenal. Pundit Tony Cascarino has said that Arsenal would be the perfect club for Mason Mount to join this summer. Speaking on TalkSPORT, Cascarino was discussing the midfielder's future. It's looking more and more likely that Mason Mount will leave Chelsea this summer. He's been linked with a host of clubs already, including Liverpool and Manchester United. Valued at £70 million, incoming Chelsea boss Mauricio Pochettino is reportedly willing to work with the England international. However, a new contract looks unlikely to be agreed at this stage. The 24-year-old hasn't had the best season, albeit in a criminally underperforming Chelsea side. Cascarino believes Arsenal would be the right move for Mount ahead of next season. The potential vacancy in the squad left by Granit Chaka, who looks set to leave, would be the perfect role for Mount. Asked about the midfielder's future, Cascarino said, I don't get it, because there is apparently Bayern München who are interested, Man United, Liverpool and Arsenal. You could argue 4 of the biggest 10 or 15 clubs in Europe, if not in the world, want him. I don't get that. He is tenacious, he is not the most gifted technically, but he's got an incredible attitude and a desire to run hard, chase. He will chip in with goals, and I think there is a lot of stuff that he does that mean he will never be the star, but he will always be an excellent team player. I look at Arsenal as probably his best option, as I think he could be the Chaka role really well. He will always get goals, Mason. He's got a great eye for a goal. He is a good finisher. I would say that Arsenal feels like the most natural fit for how they play for him. He is great at the freedom role, not being a winger, but being a midfielder that breaks in behind the defender and gets in the 18-yard box to get goals. That's where Mason is really good. Even if Cascarino believes Mount would be perfect for Chaka's role at Arsenal, Mikel Arteta might have other plans. His main target this summer appears to be Declan Rice, who could also easily play in that position. The pair are very close friends, and Arsenal could benefit from having both of them in the squad. Club now desperate to keep their £21 million player after he claims he could join Arsenal. Sky Sports journalist Darmish Sheth claims Manchester City are desperate to keep hold of Ilkay Gundogan this summer amid interest from Arsenal. Mikel Arteta looks set to bolster his squad this summer after narrowly missing out on the Premier League title. The Gunners seem to be prioritizing the middle of the park as Granit Xhaka is edging towards a surprise move to Bayer Leverkusen, and Arsenal have been linked with another move for a City player in Ilkay Gundogan. Indeed, The Guardian report that Gundogan is interested in linking up with Arteta in North London after working with him in Manchester. The 32-year-old's current deal with City is set to expire over the summer, and as things stand, he is set to leave Pep Guardiola's side on a free transfer. But Sheth has told Give Me Sport that City are desperate to keep hold of their captain beyond the summer. Sheth shared an update on Gundogan's future and claimed that Guardiola feels the midfielder is priceless for City. He said, it would be an incredible way to bookmark his Manchester City career if, as captain, he wins the treble and lifts all 3 of those trophies. Where do you go from there? But Pepe Guardiola's thinking is this guy is priceless and someone who is a first-team player. Yes, he is in his 30s, but that doesn't matter. Look at the influence he has on the pitch and off the pitch as well. They desperately want him to stay. At the end of the current campaign, Gundogan has arguably been one of City's most important players, as his form helped them to yet another title. The German has been ever present for Guardiola's side since making the £21 million switch to the Etihad Stadium back in 2016. It would be a surprise to see City allow their captain to leave for nothing over the summer, especially if he ends up joining their rivals Arsenal. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.